from behind me, if you can see, but also, yeah, massively passionate about what we're doing here in the Northeast. And I think for such a long time we've had a great story to tell, and we haven't been telling that story. So it's time for us to come out from under our bushel and to really make sure that we shine the light on the great sectors that we have here in the region, and not least our cyber and our technology sectors.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. You mentioned there sort of small but mighty cluster when we're at the meetups, and the way everybody works together. It's really good to see, and everybody's got that common purpose of having a thriving cyber sector. So you described the work previously through three core pillars, which was skills, innovation, and the ecosystem. Can you walk us through, I guess, what each of those means and why they are so important to the future of cyber within the region?
Yeah, absolutely. So ecosystem for me is about having a really strong little black book. So for someone who works in HR and recruitment, that's, exactly how you work, making sure you know everyone and what they're up to, and therefore you can connect into them. And this is really important in cyber, because when things go wrong, you need to know who can be there to support you. So who can, add additional services, who can really help you with, back up your team and things like that. So you need to know who's in the region, but also you need to know who's, doing well, where your next hire might come from, where your next job might come from, who's supporting from a legal services perspective, policing, all the rest of it. So we bring all of that group together, or everyone who's got something to do with cybersecurity in the Northeast. And just for clarity as well, we talk about the geographic Northeast. So we do have two combined authorities in that region, the Northeast Combined Authority and the Tees Valley Combined Authority, and CyberNorth covers that whole geographic region of the Northeast as well. It's a point I like to clarify now that we've got a Northeast Combined Authority and people think we're just working in the space. We go a bit further south as well. So that's the collaboration piece, the ecosystem piece, which is all about collaboration and really, really vital to the work that we're doing in the region. And then we look at innovation. So if we are to grow as a sector and we are to continue to keep the region very safe and secure and forward thinking, we need to make sure that we're innovating here as well. So we have created innovation centres to enable more cyber startups to happen. And we're looking to really roll that out in a big way over the next couple of years as well. So innovation is key to how we grow and prosper as a sector. I like to think the baddies aren't standing still, so nor should the goodies, and we really need to be making sure that we're advancing on that all of the time. And the last one is around skills. And I think this is probably the most pertinent to our conversation today, is around how do we make sure that we've got the skills that we need in cyber in the region today, but also tomorrow. So we're not just looking at making sure we've got talent that we can get into jobs today, but what does that talent pipeline look like for the future? So consequently, we're working with programs like Cyber First, which is all about inspiring young people in school to consider a career in cybersecurity, right through to developing an apprenticeship, right through to working with students at undergrad and postgrad level as well, to look at what they're doing and how that fits into the needs of the sector, and working with the academic community to think about how do we prepare our future students for what the future of cybersecurity will look like as well. So yeah, there's a lot to keep us busy there, and lots of really interesting work that's going on around that right now.
Yeah, there's so much to go at, and whenever I come away from one of the meetups or from one of the talks with anybody in the cluster, you're so heartened about the forward steps that everybody's trying to take to make it better. And like you said, there's so much going on, but there's so many people involved. And you mentioned the skills pillar, which obviously ties in very closely to what we do here at NRG. So what challenges do you think the region's currently facing when it comes to that skills gaps and access to the cyber talent?
So there's a couple of things. I don't think we've got a skills gap. I think we've got an experience gap. And my justification for that is 6% of our students that are studying at Northeast universities are studying computer science. And many of those include modules in cybersecurity, and some may have been majoring in cybersecurity as well. So of our 5 universities, they're all teaching computer science. It's a big thing. So 5,500 undergrads studying cybersecurity means that we've got the talent. Right, and that's just those who are coming through. We've got over 2,000 people working in cyber professions in the region today. So again, we've got people, we've got skills, we've got knowledge and expertise. But the thing that we see and hear about often is that we are not, as a sector, providing opportunities for those people coming into our sector to get the experience. So they are coming to a job or a recruiter with a degree in cybersecurity, but they may never have actually gotten their hands dirty and worked on the tools, which is difficult then for an employer to say, yep, okay, I'll take a punt on you. I can see you've done the book learning, but I can't then see how it's been translated, but I'll take a punt on you. And that's a real challenge. We don't expect employers to, do that necessarily. But we need, as a sector, to think about how we do give that experience and how we do equip people with both the certifications and the diplomas and degrees and other qualifications and the actual physical, doing the doing. So there's a number of programs that we've come up with, but also working with lots of other organisations to think more laterally about how we do that. And I think that is a major challenge. Do you see that, Craig? Is that a challenge when you're seeing candidates come through?
Yeah, a lot of candidates, we either get people that are at the very junior end of the scale or the very senior end, and a lot of businesses are looking for that sweet spot in the middle. So even though cybersecurity, as we were talking before we came on air, it's been so important for so long, I guess now, because it's getting a badge of importance from the government, a lot of people are seeing that as this is the career I want to go into. So we're missing that sort of vital middle sector. I guess, like you said, that experience is what we're missing, because we've got both ends of the spectrum. We just need that middle bit. So yeah, 100%. And you mentioned you've done a lot of good sort of partnerships within the region. You're working with a lot of businesses with the way they think. And one of the most exciting things that you guys have done is you've launched the Flexi Job Apprenticeship Scheme with Gateshead College.
Just
Tell us a
rolls
bit
off the
more.
tongue, that, doesn't it?
Yeah. We need an acronym for that. We don't have enough acronyms. So if we can get one, if anybody's got a suggestion, pop it in the chat. But what makes this approach different?
So firstly, this is a sector that does not need another acronym, so don't. So we spoke to a lot of our businesses a couple of years ago, as we obviously do all of the time, and we said, what's really stopping you from choosing apprenticeships? Because they're available in cybersecurity, but we can see that you're not taking them up. And the employers said to us, well, actually, it's really difficult for us as SMEs, and this sector is made up of 99% SMEs. How it's difficult for us as SMEs to be able to do the whole cybersecurity apprenticeship. It's too broad. It requires me to provide services that we just don't provide. So, for example, if you're a penetration test specialist company, you can only do a little bit of the apprenticeship. You can't do the full thing. Therefore, you're not then getting access to the apprenticeship mechanism as a way, excuse me, as a way of attracting and retaining talent. So we thought, well, actually, this is not good enough. We need to find a way to make sure that these people can get access to, new and emerging talent coming into the sector, but also use the apprenticeship framework, the apprenticeship levy, to upskill existing employees as well. So we went to Department for Education and we had this conversation with them and said, how do we make this happen? And they sent us away with a big stack of, papers to fill in and complete applications and whatnot. And 2 years later, with support with Gateshead College, we've been able to get to that point now where we can now offer flexi job apprenticeship. And the flexi part of it means that instead of a typical apprenticeship is one apprentice goes to one employer for a number of years, completes their apprenticeship training with a provider and gets their work experience with the employer. And they do it in just, that one-on-one relationship. The flexi part means you go to several. So in our initial pilot, we're running that with 2 employers, Northumbrian Water Group and InfoSec Advisory. And so a large large big business, blue chip company based out of the region, and a very small boutique consultancy based out of the region. So this works really nicely together, because what one can't do in terms of the framework and teaching people particular skills, the other one can. And so they actually fit together like a bit like a comb almost in terms of what they can achieve together. So what's fascinating for us when we've done this process is Northumbrian Water, despite their size, and we all know them and probably we're mostly customers of them, they can't do an apprenticeship by themselves. So even they need to work with a small business to be able to fill that apprenticeship requirement. So that's why this is a really important mechanism and tool for everyone to be thinking about. And so this year, I've got the mic, Craig, so I might as well do a plug. This year we're launching it again. We're running another program. Gator College will be launching the apprenticeship program again in January. And that's an opportunity if any employer in the region is looking to think about their recruitment slightly differently, wants to get involved in something incredibly novel. It's the only place in the UK and indeed the world where you can do this kind of apprenticeship. Then please get in touch. And it works exactly financially the same way as any other apprenticeship. You just really pay the salary of the apprentice, so there's no other hidden cost there. But yeah, it's a great way to do something different and to trial and think about how we can get more people into this sector with the experience and the qualification that they need to be able to thrive.
Yeah, coming out of college or university with not only the theoretical qualifications but a year's experience within big organisations and a smaller boutique organisation just stands them in good stead. And it's a fantastic thing that you guys have organised, and you mentioned there like other businesses getting involved. What kind of organisations would you want to be hearing from?
Anyone who has a need to provide cybersecurity services. So whether you are a cyber company or you have an in-house team, public, private sector, it doesn't matter. It's about thinking of, people who are forward thinking and want to do things a bit differently, who want to give back, I suppose, to the Northeast community and think about how we can grow our sector in that way as well. But like you say, I think this is a standout opportunity for the apprentice. If they can come to you or another recruiter or another job advertiser in a couple of years' time and say, I got my apprenticeship, I got my level 4 qualification in this case, but I also got 2 years of work experience with different organizations. It would otherwise take you 4 or 5 years to achieve that in your career. So they're already getting the jump in their career and really starting in a really favorable spot. So I think it's got, huge potential from not just the employer, but the apprentice perspective as well.
Yeah, 100%. And it moves on to, I guess, my favorite aspect of the CyberNorth community pillars, which is that community and collaboration aspect. Like we're looking for everybody to work together to create this talent. Because, we can't all do it on our own and there's little good silos. But I guess, why do you think it's so important to build that connected cyber community here in the Northeast?
Yeah, I think like that, what was just saying, we're small but we're mighty, and we really have the opportunity to do that. So this region is very strong when it comes together, and we do that very well in cyber. So let me give you an example. We run sort of what we call trade missions and trade events in different parts of the world. And last year we were in Cheltenham, which is the home for cybersecurity in the UK, with GCHQ being based there and consequently lots of other big businesses. So we took 7 companies down to Cheltenham to look at what could be done there. They could build partnerships and look at what the opportunities were like. And of those 7, 5 have now established commercial partnerships, collaborations, reselling of services and products. So within the Northeast, those 5 businesses now have those collaborative connections, which may well have happened without that trade mission, but the intensity almost of spending 36 hours together, having the opportunity to kind of connect and you look at the whites of each other's eyes, suss each other out and see if you can, really trust a partner in that way, I think has made a massive difference. And so consequently, we've got these 5 businesses now who are able to improve their product offering to their existing clients, come together to look at bigger opportunities as a more kind of collaborative or cohesive group of organizations rather than independently. And they're very much putting collaboration over competition. And honestly, there's nothing that makes me more proud, I suppose, is to think about that's how we're operating in this region. We're not about me. It's about we and how we can grow and thrive. I think with the changes in devolution and opportunities now what we have with the different combined authorities, now is also the time to be working in that way and to be looking at what does Brand Northeast look like and what does the cyber offering from Brand Northeast look like. And so for me, those businesses that are really thinking collaboratively and are really looking at how they can join up with others, they're the ones that are going to thrive.
Yeah, you mentioned that a few times, and I know that from our side, we've really enjoyed the partnership we've had with CyberNorth, and it's one that we want to continue sort of contributing to and helping to grow and spreading the word. And I guess looking ahead, what are some of your key priorities over the next 12 months?
So I think just touching on that, one of the things that we need to do better in this region is tell the Northeast story. So we need to really, and that's really important because of those 5,500 graduates that we're producing. We want that talent pool to consider the Northeast as a place to live and work beyond graduation. So we don't just want it to be, went to Newcastle and it was a great night out, right? We want it to be, I went to Newcastle and I made my life there because of the opportunity that was available to us. So again, it's that idea of us actually shouting from the rooftops. We've got some amazing businesses here, big, small, in between, and they're doing great, innovative things. Let's all take it upon us to find out what those stories are and share them more broadly. And I think as a relationship with you guys and recruiters more generally, it's all about how do we sell brand Northeast so that this talent remains within the region. Everyone loves living here. They love being a part of what we've got here. But then we don't necessarily put our best foot forward in sharing what those longer term employment opportunities look like. So I think that's something where we can also collaborate and share on as well.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. The amount of people that I've been speaking to recently where they went to university, Newcastle, Sunderland, Northumbria, and they're now looking to move back to the region. And because they've went away, they've got some experience, they want to come back. And, there's multiple factors for it. But, why do they need to move away? In the first instance, you're completely right. So I guess if you had one message for businesses or professionals across the region working in or connected to the cybersecurity side, what would that one message be?
Get out there and network. So I'm going to use a really trite phrase here, and I bet you love this. Your network is your net worth, and there couldn't be more true in cyber. So whether you're looking for a new job, whether you're looking for a partner, whether you're looking for, capital to advance a business idea or whatever, it's all about making sure that you are connected to the community, and it's a really friendly community. I'm not just saying that because we're part of it, Craig, but it is a really nice community, welcoming, supportive, relatively new in terms of cyber, hasn't been around that long. So it's not, established in some of the ways that other professions are. And it's very open. So please, if you are thinking about wanting to get involved in the sector, or you're already in the sector and you just want to find out a bit more about what's going on, and do network and get involved in all of the different events that are happening, or just connecting with people and sharing. I think that's really, really important, and it's something that I genuinely believe we do very well in this region as well.
The knowledge share aspect is something that's very important, particularly in cybersecurity, because like you said at the start, you need to know what's going on, and connecting with these people at any of the events you guys run, it's so invaluable. I've had some fantastic conversations when I've been at the events, and even afterwards I've had some LinkedIn messages, I've met a few people for coffees, and it's given me a more thorough understanding of things that I can then go and talk about with more sort of confidence to other businesses, and it's been invaluable. It really has. I guess before we close off, we've got a couple of questions that have come into the comments section, so we'll try and get round to those at the end. But before we close off, we'd like to end on a bit of, I guess, a fun note, I guess a quick fire round. So just a few short answers for you, right? And I know you're passionate about it, but we'll try and keep it short. But I guess one word to describe the Northeast cyber future.
Exciting.
Okay. The most exciting opportunity that's happening in cyber right now.
Oh, this is a hard one, but I'm gonna say AI, but I'm gonna say the ethics surrounding AI. So how we set our foundation to how we operate in an AI environment, and a secure AI environment, I think is really, really valuable. So that's a massive opportunity for us all to consider right now, and one that I hope we get right.
Perfect. And your top tip, your personal, the Danielle Phillips, CEO, CyberNorth, top tip for anybody looking to enter the cyber sector?
Just get out there and network. You know, there are so many. Am I allowed to use more than one word here, Craig?
Yeah, go for it. It's quick
All right.
fire. We've got the time.
There are so many organisations, not just CyberNorth. You know, we bring together everyone almost in the region. But there are, if you're highly technical, you want to go and get your hands dirty, go along to B sides. If you want to, understand more about different areas of cybersecurity, there's a wealth of different groups and meetups that exist. So just immerse yourself within it. The more the merrier. You know, get to find out who you like, where you like to hang out, meet the right people, and I also think my favorite regional phrase is shy Ben's getting out. So if you don't ask, you don't get. If you want something, if you want, someone to check over your CV or somebody to help you with some prep for a job or to find out a bit about an organization or an opportunity that might present itself or find out how to get into the sector, ask the question. And if I can't help you or one of my team can't help you, we'll know somebody who can and we can point you in the right direction. And I'm sure Craig and his team will do the same. So we're very, we're desperate really to get more people into the sector, more talent, more great minds into the sector. We're really, really happy to help and facilitate that in whichever way we can. So please do help. And please get in touch. And I think I've taken up more than one word on.
That's completely fine, and it just typifies what I was just about to say. There is maybe not that we're desperate for people to get in. We're passionate about getting the talent through. Because there's so much opportunity. You've mentioned it before that there's 16 or 17 non-technical routes into the sector before you've even looked at the technical sides, and we're just passionate, and the cluster itself is full of like-minded people that want this sector and this region to thrive. So we've got a few minutes left at the end, so we've had a few questions, a few comments popped into the box, so I'll go through them, and I guess you can give your perspective on it. Angela is a master's cybersecurity graduate from the University of Hertfordshire. Since she's graduated, she's found it challenging securing a role in the industry, and she's struggling to enter the field. What steps should she take to improve her chances to get back into the cybersecurity and tech centre?
Okay. Big question, Angela. I'm happy for you to reach out and get in touch, and we can have a separate offline conversation if that helps as well. But just a couple of top tips. So making sure that you are visible to employers, making sure that people know what it is you're looking for. I speak to a lot of recent grads who say, I want to work in cybersecurity. And I say there were 16 specialisms in cybersecurity that are technical and many that aren't. Which area do you want to work in, or which couple of areas do you want to work in? So narrow it down so that the person that you're speaking to can kind of help you with where you want to go as well. Any experience that you can demonstrate really, really helps. And that doesn't have to be just paid experience. So if you volunteered, you've done a penetration test for a local community, or you've helped a school with their networking, or you've done things like that maybe pro bono, then document that. Similarly, things like Try Hack Me or Hack the Box, CTFs, anything like that you've done that demonstrates that you can apply your learning into a practical environment, it's really worth documenting. And employers in cyber understand how difficult it is to get the experience, and so they actually will be very keen to hear about that. I think within cyber as well, having a thirst for knowledge and an appreciation for continuous learning is really valuable. So demonstrating that you are looking at, doing certs, or you're doing different activities all of the time, it really does help show employers that you do have that thirst for knowledge, because that's effectively what you're going to have to do when you're working in the sector as well. It doesn't stand still, so you need to keep up to speed with what's going on. So hopefully some of those things help, but again, happy to talk to you independently as well and chat through what that could look like.
Yeah, probably time for just one more. There's been 4 or 5, maybe 6 that have been put in the box. So I guess to everybody, reach out to myself, Danielle privately, and we'll happily answer these questions as well. But one of the ones here was, can CyberNorth coach, as a LinkedIn user, can CyberNorth coach or point us towards an established company that can coach potential startups?
Yes. That we can. I think, it depends on what kind of coaching you're looking for. We do have our own innovation center, so we can support new ideas that way. But we can certainly have that initial conversation. We're very much, I think, Craig, it's fair to say, a bit of a signpost and organization as well. We know a lot of people doing lots of different things, so we can point you in the right direction there. But yeah, effectively, yes, we can.
Yes. Yeah, so anybody that's asked a question, sorry if we haven't got around to it, simply just running out of time, but please feel free to reach out to myself or Danielle privately, and we'll spare the time. As Danielle's mentioned, the cybersecurity cluster in the North is so friendly, you'll get the help that you need. Danielle, really, really appreciate you taking the time out to join us, and for everything you're doing, I guess, to try and grow that cybersecurity sector in the Northeast. It's not going unnoticed, and it's been a brilliant conversation. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And thank you to everybody who has tuned in. If you're part of the tech, cyber, or digital community here in the Northeast, then get in touch. Also, as well, if you're part of the cyber sector, CyberNorth runs CyberSips, which is usually on the last Thursday of every month.
Tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Yeah, it's tomorrow. And they've got a fantastic venue tomorrow where it's all about the space sector. So that's going to be really, really keen. Check it out on their website, and the tickets are available for free on Eventbrite. So as I said, get in touch, whether you're looking to attract any talent, explore partnerships, or simply just get more involved in this fantastic growing ecosystem, then yeah, get in touch. And thank you for joining in. We will see you next time on Talking Talent Live. Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. Appreciate the offer. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.